Hi folks, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
How's my tie?
That looks pretty good, Bob.
Today we're going to talk about 5 habits that stop back pain from getting better. It's like, you remember the 7 habits of highly successful people?
Right.
These are the 5 habits of highly pain-free people.
Oh, say no more, Bob. Maybe we could write a book on it.
Yeah, we should. We should. By the way, if you're new to our channel, please take a second to subscribe to us. We provide videos on how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free. We upload every day. Also, if you get a chance, you're going to want to go over to the Facebook and like us, Bob and Brad. Because very soon, I won't keep you waiting too long, but we're going to be giving away some really cool things on a weekly basis.
You said that last week.
I know. Shh.
It's coming. Don't worry.
It's coming.
Don't worry. It's coming.
Right now, we give you positive vibes, though.
Right.
That's immediate.
There you go.
All right, so there's 5 habits. They're not that hard to change. You know, even for the old dog, can learn new tricks, right?
Sure. Well, except for the guys.
Yeah, that's right. Men are stubborn. But the first habit we're going to want to change is that you sit too much.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us have to sit for driving.
Right.
It's hard to stand. So you may have a commute, and then a lot of us may have to sit at work too, you know, doing your desk job.
Or maybe a combination. Truck drivers.
Right.
Law enforcement. There's a lot of sitting in their cars. Takes a toll on their backs.
And then you go home and you sit also watching TV.
Right.
You know, and a lot of times it's a lot worse if you sit in that slouch position. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show here.
Sure.
But right now, I'm trying to get you to avoid sitting.
Okay.
You know, when I hurt my back, and I had a little bit of a disc problem years and years ago, I stood for everything.
Okay.
So now this isn't going to work for your particular condition, spondylolisthesis,
Right.
or spinal stenosis, but for most, the average back pain, the average typical back pain, the more you can stand, the better it's going to be.
Or even walk.
Or, yeah, you're jumping ahead, Brad.
That's
one of our habits.
Okay.
Okay, so one thing we're going to recommend, actually, and this has worked well for a couple of my patients, Brad, actually, is they got a standing desk or they got a riser.
Sure.
So, you know, we're going to show 2 different types here. This is the typical one from Flex the Spot that we've been promoting. Now, this one's over $200. It's very nice.
Yep.
It has multiple levels, and it's been tested like it can work like 6,000 times.
Yeah.
But I was really excited is that they've come out with a little, kind of a little smaller model.
Kind of a portable model.
Yeah, because look how easy this thing is to carry around, you know?
Right.
So I was really excited when they said, yeah, send us one. So this is $100, I believe. That's what they had said anyway. It was going to be $100. And it'll hold 17.6 pounds. So a laptop would work out really well. I'd say even a lot of computers, you could put certainly the screen on there, right?
Oh, sure.
So,
yeah.
and you know, it's got a little lock here on the side just to hold it down.
Yep.
And then it's got 4 levels to bring it up. So it goes, you know, look at this. This is high enough for me.
Right. And I like it because it's so light you can just carry it around from spot to spot. If you just have a laptop or even a little tablet, that work out great for that kind of thing.
Well, you were talking about you could eat on this thing.
Well, absolutely. I'm thinking I just might. Or if you have children, you might want to, you know, I'm not sure about
what
that.
with your children on it?
Well, they could eat, learn, you know, it's...
have your children eat on this. I thought you were going to put your child on here, like
Bob,
a changing station or
why,
something. I
Bob?
don't know.
Just carry on with the show.
But anyway, this will work really well for, I mean, and honestly, I do say that, and not in jest, is that you may even want to eat standing up if you're having back pain.
Oh, sure, right.
So very, very cool. We'll put a link down below for that. Again, it's just a simple way to try to avoid standing. That's all locked up, and we can move this out of the way.
You mean avoid sitting?
Avoid sitting, yeah. I said standing, didn't I?
Yes, you did, Bob, but that's all right.
I'm going to move this one out of the way, Brad.
You're going to move that all by yourself?
Yeah, and why don't you talk about the next one, how it's important not to freeze your back. In other words, the next habit you want to do is get in a habit of moving your back. And maybe you want to show trunk rotation.
Sure. Yeah, so if your back is sore and you got problems with it, one thing is you want to keep it moving but without stressing it. So oftentimes if you got a sore back, bending, sitting, those things hurt it. But if you're laying down and you want to get it moving gently, this is one that works really nice. So there's no weight going through your back. You can do this on your bed or on a carpeted floor. Like this, bring your knees together. I call this hook line, and we just gently go back and forth like your legs are windshield wipers, going back and forth. And you're going to do this in a pain-free range. If you go to the left and it creates pain, and it's pain-free to the right, well, then you're just going to start out going to the right, back to the midline, or in a pain-free range. And eventually, as things improve, the range of motion should improve as well. Then you can start going farther. And as it gets better, you can really rotate all the way over this far. See, my shoulders are flat.
Yeah, he's keeping his shoulders down. They're not coming up along with the back. Mm-hmm. Really amazing with this one. I found the vast majority of people can do this one, and the vast majority of people get some relief from that, especially if they do it on a regular basis. I mean, you can do it every hour if you have the ability or the place.
Right. It might be kind of hard at work, depending on what your job is. But I've had people that are able to do it if they're self-employed or of that nature.
And another movement that we quite often recommend is just plain old press-ups.
Sure.
So, in fact, we just had a nurse yesterday, and the old tried and true. She had hurt her back, and we started having her do press-ups, and it felt immediately better.
Right.
And I started off by just having her prop up a little bit like this. And she had her doubts about it, I think, but in the end, I think we sold her on it.
There you go.
So then you put your hands beneath the shoulders, and you're going to start doing press-ups like this.
There
Again,
you go.
just another different way of getting movement in the back. It's the opposite of that bending that caused the pain.
Yeah, going forward.
So, and sometimes you start off in just little, what I'm trying to say, a little part. I mean, not the full motion, little motions.
I don't know what you're trying to say. We're doing range of motion, extension
and then
line.
eventually you can go up to the full range of motion.
Right.
Partial range of motion versus full.
There you go. I knew you could get it, Bob.
All right.
I didn't know where you're going.
Okay, the third one. That's what you already had mentioned, Brad. You want to get in a habit of walking with your back pain.
Sure.
What they have found, especially if you can do like 20 minutes, it really seems to be the magic number. It really gets blood flow and oxygen to your back.
Sure.
Recently I had thrown my back out, throwing a mattress around, and I was running the next day, and it felt good. I mean, because you're not bending when you're running. You can keep in good posture, and it still hurt when I was trying to lift something.
Right. It doesn't mean you have to run, but walking.
No, walking is
There's
good.
a lot of people who refuse to run or have no interest, and that's just fine because there's only a small percentage of people who enjoy that activity. But walking pretty much fits everyone.
Everybody can do that.
And if you do walk and it's irritating your back, it's not ready for you yet. You're going to have to go back to the rotation, maybe cold packs, whatever, if it's in that level of
And try
severity.
to do a little more each day. I mean, if it does hurt, try to go out 100 feet. Maybe the next time you go out a block, eventually go out a couple blocks.
And you're going to find out a couple of other things we mentioned here can be helpful as well. So keep listening to the video for more ideas.
The fourth habit is, you're not protecting your back. That's, when you're in pain, you keep putting your back in a position where you can hurt it. So, you can use different devices. Brad's actually got a back support on.
Yeah.
This is a nice one by Braceability.
I guess you can see that.
Yeah, this is a smaller one, a more narrow one. But Brad likes these, because it's got I don't know if you could see that, how that tightened up. See how that was apart?
Can you see that?
Yeah, you can see it, and it pulls together. It's really a nice feature.
Yeah.
Really easy to use. And what you can do is, I wouldn't recommend it's tight all the time by any means.
Right.
But when Brad's about ready to do a lift or put his back under stress for some reason, he should go ahead and tighten that up.
Right.
And now, when you cut lawn, do you wear that or not? Usually,
I use a back support.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to do some shrubbing or I've got some branches to move, or some things I like that, then I'll use this,
Then you might
tighten it up.
keep it tight almost the whole time then.
Right, and then loosen it up when I'm taking a break.
And this is a back support that Brad actually really likes.
Oh, that's a beautiful one for me.
The memory foam one.
Right, there's some people it's going to be too big for, but I think if you got stenosis or spondylolisthesis, that may be the one of choice. Nice memory foam.
Yep.
It's broad, and you know it feels big at first, and it is. But the memory foam, the foam will go in and it really supports the back from the belt line up. And you know, I've looked for one for a number of years, and this is the one that works really good for me in the car.
And that's what we're talking about here. You know, you can't avoid that sitting in the car. Obviously, you can't stand while you're driving.
Right.
Eventually, that someday maybe that'll come about. But
Right.
right now, you can't. So I mean, both Brad and I use the lumbar supports. I use a thinner one. You could start with a rolled towel.
Sure.
To see if it feels better. But we're trying to get that support in there while you're driving, so that your back isn't oscillating back and forth.
Yeah, this was actually kind of a large diameter one, but they make different sizes.
Yeah, I just use a thin foam one.
We've got a great video that shows about 6 or 8 of these and why different situations for different people.
And again, you start off with a rolled towel, and then you can kind of figure out which size you want. So, and the last one is I'm going to mention is that you know, the last habit is you're not strengthening your back in some way. And I'll show just the basic one here, Brad. Why don't we just show the, well, I guess, would you mind throwing me that pillow, Brad? We can start off. You can throw a couple pillows.
I always like doing that.
Brad's always going to throw it with heat. But you could actually have a couple pillows, and you can start off, you know, just by, you know, if you're really starting with basic stuff here, you can start off just by lifting the arms up like this, which is starting to get the back, and then you can go opposite arm and opposite leg.
So this is really working, especially when you do the opposite. It works the muscles in a cross pattern. It's great for posture. We just did a video with a number of these on that. Really
for back strengthening,
Yep, very popular too.
And you can obviously go up to make it a little bit tougher and go to the pointer dog here.
Right, the pointer dog, the old quadruped.
And you can count to 10. Wouldn't you say a good 10 seconds for a hold or not?
Well,
and you know, you can count to 10.
Sure.
Right, Brad? You're able to count to that?
I can count to 10. Even when, so if you're going to hold it for, you mean hold it for count to 10? Yeah, that's going to be aggressive, especially
or
as
you can just do reps like this.
Sure.
I'm having a little more trouble on this side.
But one thing that you can't see is Bob is actually tightening his core, his stomach muscles up at the same time, so we're getting a complete core and back stabilization exercise.
All right, well, we went long on this one, Brad. I don't know what happened to us.
Yeah,
but anyway, so we want to thank everybody for watching.